Welcome back to the Peace and Progress podcast, episode unknown because I keep forgetting what episode it is. What's going on? How you feeling? Let's do an update first on how you're feeling with the baby. Because now that we can talk about that, we'll talk about that for like 5 minutes.
With the baby, pretty good.
How do you feel?
Fine. I'm in the second trimester, so like I don't have nausea anymore, thankfully.
Okay, so you're feeling good.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
No cravings?
Not like cravings. Like with the boys, I had like pretty much
Chick-fil-A, wasn't it?
Yeah, Chick-fil-A and like a Coke from Chick-fil-A or like a Coke slushie or a Slurpee. This time around, I have not had those cravings at all. The other day, I was craving chicken strips in general, not necessarily from Chick-fil-A.
Okay. But where'd you get them from, Vons?
I got them from Chick-fil-A.
Oh, that's right. Okay. Not necessarily from Chick-fil-A, but that's where I went.
Well, I'm just saying because like I was just saying how, with the boys, it was a Chick-fil-A craving. And I went like every Friday at least. And this time that's not the case. And I just happened to have like a craving for chicken strips. And then you asked me like, well, how were they? And I was like, they didn't even hit the spot. Like they weren't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Chick-fil-A in general. I feel like it never hits.
Yeah.
Maybe like once every like 10 times, 15 times.
The Coke at Chick-fil-A is good.
We're not doing that episode again.
Yeah.
Anyway.
But it never fills you. It's never like a meal.
I thought you meant the Coke.
No, like the food from Chick-fil-A.
No, it never, no, ever. And then you end up paying the same amount as anywhere else. So I'd rather go somewhere like In-N-Out and get 2 burgers and a fry. Okay, so you feel good for the most part. Now, did you already say you had morning sickness in the first one? First trimester?
I mean, I wouldn't even say it's morning sickness because I was talking to someone else who also has 2 boys, and she said that she was like very sick, like morning sickness, like very sick.
With one of the boys?
With both of her boys.
Oh.
And I think it's like a common misconception that like with boys, you're not necessarily as sick. But I think it's like different for everybody. With both of our boys, I was pretty much the same. He's calling you.
Who?
Brixton.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Okay, so with the boys, it was both the same?
It was pretty much the same. I would say this one is like maybe it was slightly worse. But only because this time around I was nauseous when I was hungry and then after I ate too, which I don't remember with the boys.
Yeah.
And then this time too, I had heartburn, which I also am not having heartburn anymore. And I was telling you I get heartburn like frequently, but it's also been 6 years since the last time I was pregnant. So that was like always in the back of my mind, like, well, maybe it's just like something else.
Off, like you just feel off?
No, maybe my symptoms feel worse because I'm also older.
And you've forgotten what it felt like? Because it's been so long or what?
No, because I'm older. So like they just feel more intense because I'm older.
Oh. So you're just saying it just has to do with you being old. It has nothing to do with anything else.
No, I mean, that was always in the back of my head. But
I thought you were saying because it was 6 years ago, you're saying like that's how much time has passed that you forgot what it felt like. You're saying because it was 6 years that you're 6 years older.
Yes, my body is 6 years older.
Yeah.
And just can't do it anymore.
I don't know if your body is 6 years older. Might be like 10, but...
Okay.
Anyways. All right, well, you feel good then. For the most part.
But I did get referred to the high-risk doctor at this point. And they said, because of your age. And I was like, yep, I know.
All right, well, that's good. Glad you feel good. Now everybody knows where you're at, too, in the second trimester. 16 weeks. 17?
17.
17 weeks. Dang, that's crazy. It's going to come so quick.
Yeah.
Obviously, and it goes by quicker when you have more kids.
Yeah.
Because there's just more kids. Like, I I think I said that on the last, I don't remember if I was talking on here or to somebody, but with Jax, it took forever because it was just like the anticipation of him coming, like being born. And now it's just like, there's obviously 2 kids. So it's double the chaos. And so it's just like life isn't slowing down at all. It feels like it's going faster, like getting to August.
Well, even with Jax, I took like weekly photos. With Bricks, I did, but I started like later. So I don't think but at this point, I don't have any of those photos anymore either. Like they're somewhere in the cloud, I guess. But also I haven't taken any like bump update pictures.
Bump dates.
Yeah.
Is that what they call them?
Yeah. So it's just, that classic like third child.
Yep. By the third child.
A baby book, but we'll see.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Anything else you want to touch on with that? And how you feel?
Not really.
That's it. That's the update. We'll do another update in 3 weeks.
What are you looking at?
I can't tell if that's him standing by the thing or if he's in bed.
Standing by what?
Is that just his dresser? Or not his dresser, his side table? Yeah. Oh, he's in bed. Anyway. Okay.
That little one's too scared.
Okay. So, this was the topic that I had for today. We'll switch it up and shift because I, 1, want to get an update, and 2, I think it'll be interesting to hear your side, your perspective on it. But, and everybody else that I train knows, I haven't told anybody else this, or what the frick was that? Is that Bricks?
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. About my 30-day challenge that I'm currently on. And the reason behind it, which I'll get into, and then I want to get into your side of things, and then we'll just keep it brief there. But the 30-day challenge that I'm currently on was for all of March, or most of March, since I'm going to Vegas next weekend for a bachelor party. And the like, what am I trying to say? Not the short term, but like the smaller picture goal, I guess I'll say, of what I was attempting to do in the course of March, or the month of March, was almost kind of like we did 75 hard when 2022,
2021, because it was right after Bricks was born.
2021. So for those that don't know what 75 hard is, it's basically like this workout routine and like this mental toughness guideline that you're supposed to follow for 75 days straight. And then the catch with that is if you miss anything that you're supposed to do every single day, you start back at day 1. So even if you get to day 70 or 74 and then you miss something, you got to start all over. You can't just go to 75. So that was the whole concept of 75 hard. It's a big like hype thing too right now. I think it's like coming back in like trend, but it was kind of along the lines of that because I liked the mental aspect of the 75 hard thing, not necessarily the physical, because I felt like, in my personal opinion, it was cool for me to do as like a challenge to see if I could do it. But I think it's too overly, like it's too much, especially for a lot of people that just start out. Like people are just like, I need to get in shape, so I'm going to do 75 hard. And I'm like, you really don't need to do all of that. Like it's a lot of.
Well, right. Because I think that if you go into it for the physical reasons, you're going into it for the wrong reasons.
Right. But most people don't know that.
Right. And obviously like we kind of knew the guy who started it, Andy Frisella. He does talk about that is like, it's not about the physical piece. And I think that if you go into it with that physical, it could have like adverse effects too.
Yeah. But so the main thing with the physical side of things is you have to work out twice a day for 45 minutes, and then one has to be outdoors. And so what I was saying is when people say that they're going to do it, especially when they're new to working out or like new to losing weight, and I'm saying that seems a little excessive in my opinion. Like you don't need to do all of that. Like you can easily just work out once a day or whatever, 3 times a week, 4 times a week. Like you don't have to work out twice a day, every single day for 75 days and Dude, it was more or less for me, like I said, when I wanted to try to challenge myself because I was already basically doing like half of what the plan was.
Right.
So it's just like, let me just see if I could do a little bit more and stick to it and,
Mm-hmm.
and just see if I could be consistent. And we both did it. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. The point is, for the month of March, I set this challenge for myself in a similar fashion with tasks that I had to do every single day. And I don't have to start over if I miss anything, which brings me to the bigger picture point. But just to list everything out, I think it was on the physical side of things, my goal was to work out every single day and have like a structured plan or a routine in mind when I'm going into the gym and not just winging it, because I've been getting to a place where I'm a lot more like complacent in my workouts and I kind of just go through the motions, and I'm just like, I've done this for so long. I'm like, I know what's good enough. You know what I mean? But it was starting to get kind of boring to me just because I'd be like, I don't really know what to do. And then I waste time thinking about it. And then I got to go to work at 6. So it's like, it's cutting my time short by having to think of what to do. So the first thing was have a set workout routine that I'm going to follow for the month of March. And I'm going to work out 6 days a week, which I already did anyway. And Sunday is my rest day. I take that day off. So work out on a consistent routine for 6 days a week. Drink a gallon of water a day, which was another 75 hard thing. But the weekends have been really hard for me because we're out and about running errands. And truthfully, like, especially on Sundays, I probably don't drink any water. So the goal was like, let me see if I can just stay consistent. Monday through Friday is easy because I'm working, I'm at home, it's there, I grab it, I'm good. Sundays and Saturdays when we're out, it becomes a lot harder for me to stay on top of it. So far I have done that. So working out 6 days a week on a consistent routine, drinking a gallon of water a day, sticking to a meal plan with no cheat meals, like no bad food. And basically what that entails is like, I wrote a meal plan for myself and I'm just following that to a T every single day, including Saturdays and Sundays, because again, those are the 2 days where I'd be a lot more lenient and kind of just be like, let's go out and get something or whatever.
Yeah.
Or even throughout the week, like the big thing with me is like, now that we have kids, is like I'd reach for the snacks when I don't really need to. So it's just like, I'm not even hungry. I'm just doing it because it's there. So let me see if I just try and take that temptation away by staying consistent with my routine and my meal plan. So that's the third thing. And then the fourth thing was, I don't remember if there was anything more on the physical side that I'm missing.
The walking.
Oh, cardio every single day. Thank you. 20 to 30 minutes of cardio every single day was another thing that, because I don't do any cardio. And I know just in general, like it's good for overall health and it's good for a lot of things, including weight loss and just being overall healthier and more like slim down. But was that it? Those are the 4 things.
I think so.
Those were the 4 things. So consistent workout routine 6 days a week, walking 20 to 30 minutes every single day or some form of cardio, drinking a gallon of water every single day, and then sticking to my meal plan with no cheat meals or snacks or going off track of the meal plan was the 4 physical side of things. Yeah. Get it. Hold the bump and your mouth. And then the next thing outside of that for the mental piece was the goal was to create content and post at least one thing on all of the pages that I have, which for those of you that don't know, I have like 7 of them. I think 2 of them are dormant. I don't really use them all that much, but there's 5 main ones that I always use. And most of the people that follow this page follow me on all of my social medias. So like you guys have probably seen me posting and hopefully seen it and been like, wow, he's being really consistent. And I've been trying. And that's the biggest thing for me, is because I wanted something that was realistic and attainable, but also challenging in a way that like on an average day, I would be like, I don't really have the time to do that, and make an excuse for why I don't have the time to do it and just be like, I'll just get to it tomorrow. It's not that important. So, and not that it is, but in this digital era that we live in, it's, I don't want to say it's everything, but it's a big piece of growing your business and your brand is online branding now on social media and marketing and networking and stuff like that. And I've said to you before, and I've said to the people that I've told this to, is I know what happens on the other side of things when I'm not consistent is like, I'm not getting, it's like input versus output, right? And it's the same thing that you do in the gym. Is like the more consistently you go to the gym and the more consistently you're on track with a routine, I don't want to say the quicker, but the more optimal you're going to see the results from that. Right. As opposed to the opposite side is like, if you don't go to the gym, you go once a week or whatever, you can't expect to see results, at least not immediately. Maybe someday you will, but that was the same thing with social media. It's like, I know when I'm so inconsistent with the posting, I know what happened, what the outcome of that is. It's like, there is no outcome. It's like, I'm not getting anywhere and I'm just spinning my wheels. And that's been a big thing for me this year in 2026 was to expand and grow my business online in that marketplace. And so I just made that challenge on top of everything else I was already doing to just be consistent with that and posting every single day. Now, my catch for me is two things. So the 75 hard is if you miss something, you start over at day one. My thing is if I miss something, I try and double down and make it up the next day. So some days you might see me post twice, or some days I'm finishing my gallon of water from the night before, or there's been days where I miss my cardio when I double it up and do it the next day. The second piece to that is to not get down on myself or be hard on myself, which is very easy to do. I think as humans, it's like, it's human nature to get down on yourself if you like fail at something and you don't do what you were supposed to do. And that was the biggest mental piece for me in that challenge, is like to just let it be and it's fine. And I was just talking about this actually twice today. I said this, and I don't think I've ever announced this anywhere publicly, at least until now on here, but the overall bigger picture goal of what I'm trying to accomplish in this, which is I feel like I tend to lead a lot of things with stress and anxiety. And I function a lot at a high level with both of those things basically running my body and running my brain. It's like I run off the adrenaline of the anxiety and the stress. And I know that that's not healthy externally, but also internally as well. And my therapist said something to me that stuck with me, especially going through everything that we've been through in the last few years of our life, is that being anxious and putting your body in that state or a state of stress all of the time is not good long-term for your body internally. And that could create a lot of issues for you down the road.
Yes.
Right? Where some things might happen because your body is constantly under anxiety and constantly under this stress. And again, surface level, obviously people know it's not healthy to be anxious or stressed all the time. But when I started to step back and think of it from that aspect, it really like put things into perspective. And I was like, that couldn't be more true for what I'm trying to accomplish in my now life. My biggest goal is to be around for my family. Like, that's the thing that's the most important to me. And that's the reason why I do everything that I do. And I've been vocal about that on the podcast before, and a lot of people know that. But this is another area of my life that I feel like I'm failing at. And it goes hand in hand in an opposite direction of what I'm actually trying to accomplish. Like, I'm putting myself through so much stress and so much anxiety that I'm slowly just killing myself. And I'm doing the opposite of what my intended goal is to be around longer. Like, that's why I'm working out, to be healthy, so that I can be around and run around with the kids and be around for a long period of time. But on the flip side, I'm doing these other things that are putting me in a worse position and taking me away from that overall goal. And so that was my goal with that, is to come out of this after 30 days. And number one, see what maybe I was just being lazy with that I could have, because there's a lot of things that I'm like, I got that done, even though I was stressing about it. Like, I still made the time to get it done. And it wasn't that big of a deal.
Pointed out to you before.
Right. So the goal is to see, like, maybe there's areas in my life that I was just making excuses on and being lazy with, when in reality, if I just like set that time aside to focus on that, I could easily just get it done. And I just wasn't making the time for it before. And then maybe there's things that I'm doing this challenge that I'm like, you know what? This isn't realistic for me to take with me every single day, maybe at least a couple of times a week. And that could be like the posting thing or maybe the cardio. It's like, it's not realistic for me to do cardio or post every single day, but I can commit consistently to at least, 2, 3, 4 times a week. Right. And so that was the goal. But the bigger goal, like I said, was to come out of it and really get almost like sit with myself in the moment of me having anxiety or stress going through this process, because it's definitely happened in the last, whatever it's been, 20 days, 19 days. But really checking myself in the moment and talking myself off of that ledge internally in my head and being like, what's the worst case scenario? Like, why am I anxious? Why am I stressed? And understanding, like my therapist says, it's like, because she always challenges that. If I say, oh, I'm really anxious about this, and she goes, okay, let's play that hypothetical out. Like, what's the worst case scenario?
Yeah.
Is anybody going to die? No. So if it's like being late, for example, which I hate being late, she said, so you're late.
Right.
So what? Right. Nobody's in trouble. Nobody's hurt. Nobody's dying. Right. It's not the end of the world.
Right.
So you're late. Do better about being more punctual next time.
Right.
You don't have to be anxious about it. So that was my overall biggest goal. But now I'm curious, because I've already asked you once, but now I'm almost at the end of it. I think I have 7 days left. And then, like I said, I'll see what I can continue and move. The goal is to keep going. It's not just to end. I don't want to just do it and just be like, cool, did it, I'm done.
Right.
I want to continue going. I just want to see when I get to the end, what I can take with me and what I can kind of be like, yeah, I don't need to do that every day. But I'm curious how you feel like I've been managing things. Have I been truthfully a lot more calm with the anxiety and the stress and not as high strung? Or do you feel like there's still days where it is obvious? Or I don't know. I'd be curious to hear your side. And then.
Well, I did tell you this like last weekend, I think, is like you didn't, like you said, is you didn't really mention like this is the ultimate goal, or like this is like the non-physical goal or whatever. But I did like point it out, is like you do seem less stressed and less anxious. And I do have a feeling it's because it's almost like when you have like so many things that you have to get done within the day, right? And if you don't have a list or anything, you're just thinking about, oh my gosh, I have all these things to do. Like, I don't even know where to start. You're feeling overwhelmed. But when you write them down, or when you write a list and you like kind of break it down in terms of like, okay, where do I start? You look at it and you're able to determine like where you start. You're much more likely to be able to tackle those things on the list, or even say, this can wait until tomorrow, and do it in like that level headedness. And that's kind of where I feel like you have been the last few weeks since you started this, is you seem overall like less anxious and less stressed, because everything is already planned out. Everything is already, ready for the day. You already have an idea of everything that is going to happen. I will say, like, the last couple days where something happens like in the morning and it seems to like set you off. But like you said, like when you wake up and work out, and then you have a very short amount of time where you have to get ready and then start your day. And if something doesn't go the way that you are planning it, or the way that you're anticipating it to go, that's where it's like kind of like sets you off. And the last couple days I have noticed like that you're just like almost like going back towards that. But in the past, I feel like you said, is you've kind of like spiraled, and like it's just like ruined the rest of your day. Where now, the last 2 days, it's kind of like, once you go into the next session, or once you get back on track or whatever, like you seem to be okay, and you can move on from that. But yeah, I was going to say something else and now I forget. But I mean, I have told you in the past too, is like, everything like you're saying with your therapist is like, what's the worst that could happen? And sometimes there are things that are just out of your control, especially when you work with other people.
Mm-hmm.
Is, somebody's going to cancel or, asked to move or whatever it may be. And it's like unexpected, but also like, okay, like, what are you going to do? Like, what's the alternative?
Right.
You can't control what other people are going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And you shouldn't let it affect how the rest of your day is going to go either.
Right.
So that's also goes like hand in hand with like, what's the worst that could happen? It's like, what would happen if something happens out of your control? You're going to have to roll with it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's where that like stress comes into play too, is you have to be able to just like let it go, because what's the point of like holding on to it?
Yeah.
You know? So a lot of what you're talking about too is like, moving on from this, you're going to find out what you would like to take on to the next month, or, after you finish this challenge. And a lot of that is more or less like habit stacking. Like, you are really good at it, me not so much. Where you just get up, like, it's part of your daily. And I know it's like more on the mental side of like you working out and stuff. Like, you've told me before, like, you can't start your day without working out, because you start your day so early. Working out in before you start work helps you wake up, it helps you get going, and all of these things, where you just have good habits in the morning before everyone else wakes up.
Mm-hmm.
That I wish I was able to start on and stuff. And even this, like, you're just so what's the word, not motivated, but disciplined. Where, I mean, I've got the biggest sweet tooth, and that, but like, I wish I could be more I say that, but then it's like, I know what your mindset is like, but you just got to do it. You
Well, I
can't
mean,
take
I
like
think, yeah. I mean, I
you got to
don't,
take the emotion out of it and just do it.
yeah, I'm not going to use me as an example because I'm probably a terrible example, but because prior to making this challenge, like I was the same way. Like my discipline with stuff like that was just out the window. Like it didn't really matter. And so I think that that's why this is such a good challenge, not obviously just for myself, but for a lot of people. Cause it's like it's something that's realistic and attainable. It's not something it's not like I'm, setting all these unrealistic goals. It's crazy. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely attainable to one person in a day, but it is challenging. That
Mm-hmm.
was the whole point of it. It's like I don't want something that's so easy I can do it while I'm asleep. You know what I mean?
Well, right.
I want something that's going to challenge me in a way. And again, that was the biggest thing is like I'm challenging my mental, like the stress and the anxiety of like having the pressure to do all of these things, but also giving myself that grace to be like, if you physically, this was the thing, if I physically didn't have the time to get it done,
Mm-hmm.
the point was, okay, I'll do it tomorrow then. It's
Right.
not a big deal.
Right.
Like, don't let it ruin the rest of my day, like you said. But again, on the flip side, is like, I also wanted to see like where I was making that excuse of like, I don't have the time to do it. It's like,
Right.
it's supposed to be challenging. Like, you're not supposed to have the time to do it. You're making the time to do it because it's now a priority to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what this challenge was. It's like, again, putting that pressure on myself to make the time because it's now a priority. Whereas before I would be like, I don't have the time, so I'm just
Yeah.
not going to do it.
Yes.
But also, again, being lenient and giving myself that grace to understand, like, if you truly don't have the time though, don't,
Mm-hmm.
oh my God, I didn't get my cardio in and I'm going to bed and I got to get it done. Like, to the point where I'm running off of stress and anxiety.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's like, nah, it's 9:30. I'm not going to go do 30 minutes of cardio right now. I'm going to bed. I'll double it up tomorrow. And again, that's the whole point, is like trying to move off of like a more clear, level-headed state of mind.
And at the same time too, this is what I was going to say earlier, is like, if you decide, like, oh, well, this isn't serving me and this isn't serving me, and maybe you replace it with some other things or whatever. But I think that moving forward, and you feel like that stress again, or that anxiety of like, I just don't have the time, I feel like you'll be able to reflect back to this
Mhm.
and say, but when I did this, I had all this time to make it a priority
Mm-hmm.
and either say, okay, I truly don't have the time, so I'm going to make it a priority tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
or, find the time to get it done in that day, because that, like, um, reference point is like, well, I had the time to do it, a month ago, and I figured it out,
Mm-hmm.
like.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was the biggest thing for me. So like I said, I only have like a week left on the challenge that is mandatory. And then I'm just going to see what I can take from there and just keep going. Cause I think that's the whole point, is like, I was just getting too complacent and like starting to get back into that routine where things were just like going with the flow. And then when things went out of flow,
Mm-hmm.
it made me anxious.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so let's keep both. Let's go with the flow still, but like challenge myself to do things and make the time to do things and set it aside because it's a priority now anyway.
Well, and like you said, going back to that, is like, I think the biggest goal, other than obviously like these physical things that you're accomplishing, is going to be how you deal with stress and anxiety, because like, no matter what it is, like, there's only so much you can do. You're only one person.
Mm-hmm.
And so challenging yourself and like actually putting yourself in that situation and purposefully not letting it overtake things, I
Mm-hmm.
think is probably going to be one of the biggest accomplishments that you hopefully achieve. And I do hope you carry that into, you know, the future, is like, what's the worst that can happen?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, I mean that's something that have been working on every day, and obviously now I'm making it more of a priority this month. But like, I just don't want to live like that. And I'll say this is, for the people that don't live like that, I can tell you from experience, it sucks. It's not a fun place to be, and like I don't ever want to think that people think I'm telling people I have anxiety from a place of like, either I want the sympathy or like I'm trying to like, because it's like the popular thing to have is now is like to be anxious. Like, I don't know, but it truly sucks. Like, I
yeah.
hate living in that state.
Mm-hmm.
And for the people that do have to live like that, and obviously no, it sucks. Like, it's not fun. And I do have conversations with people like that all the time in personal training, and just sharing my experience and my perspective of it, and like why I'm trying to live life this way now
Right.
is because I know what it's like to live life the other way.
Mm-hmm.
And again, for the people that also either are currently living like that or have lived like that in the past, like, they know I'm not, it's not news by saying that it sucks to live like that, to wake up already anxious, or to like have something significantly like impact your day that really had no weight on it at all. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, it was something that you couldn't even control, and it could be the tiniest thing, and it's like significantly impacted and like thrown your whole day off. And it's like, for what?
Yeah.
And so I don't want to live like that anymore. So I don't know. Hopefully that encourages people that either do live like that to actually
Well,
remove themselves in that moment and really check themselves
mm-hmm.
and ask that same thing. It's like, okay, so let me play this out.
Yeah.
If everything goes bad the way it is in my head right now,
Mm-hmm.
what's the worst case scenario?
Right.
And then obviously most times it's really nothing. Like, the worst case is really nothing at all.
Right.
And so if you can check yourself in that moment, hopefully you can stop yourself before you go off of that cliff
Right.
and be like, all right, so what?
Well, the other thing that I will add too is like, I don't even know if you're aware of it or if it had any motivation, but like, we have noticed like Jax has some anxiety too
Mm-hmm.
on certain things, and that's what we've been, both of us, more aware with like how we react to things.
Mm-hmm.
That, I mean, of course, in the moment, like, our reaction is to be upset about certain things or whatever, but it's to stop yourself in that moment and like check how you're reacting, because if you're going to blow up over something that doesn't need that reaction, then that's basically what they're learning. But the other thing is too is like sometimes pushing him to sit in those feelings of anxiety. I mean, he's one that like if he spills something on his shirt, most of the time it's like water and he wants to change like immediately.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, no, you'll be okay. It will dry.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't like it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets upset, but it's like forcing him to sit in that and be okay with it. And then, you know, after the moment passes, it's like, see, you were okay.
Mm-hmm.
Because he doesn't have that ability right now. I think, you know, he's young to do it himself.
Yeah.
So to recognize those behaviors as well in him and then kind of trying to stop it now before it just gets worse,
I think I'm a perfect example of that. Like we talked about how I was raised and like the environments that I was brought up in, and I think that that's plays a big role. I mean, I don't even think I know it plays a big role into like how I respond to stuff. You know, it's like
Yeah.
it's
And sometimes you can't help it. I mean,
no, but you can do the best that you can. And
yes.
I feel like in the past I've really been bad at that. I've really kind of just, you know what, this is the way I am. This is how I was raised. This is how I've seen people in my life respond to things, and this is how you respond when things don't go your way.
Right.
And that's just how I am. And it doesn't have to be like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can make that decision to change that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not easy, and it's not always guaranteed, but there are things that you can do to start changing that behavioral pattern
Mm-hmm.
or the way that you learned how to do things. And it's up to you. And that again is like you said, it's like another driving factor is like, I know what it's like growing up like that. And I just said 3 minutes ago how much it sucks. I don't want my kids to have to go through that.
Right.
And I know that that starts with me.
Right.
At least partially. Like it's going to start with me. So it's a huge reason why I don't want to live like that anymore.
Right.
Not only because of the physical things that could possibly go wrong, but like I don't want to pass that down to my kids, and I don't want my kids to have to live like the same way that I've had to live because it's not
you're
fun.
lucky because Bricks could like literally care less about what anybody thinks.
Yeah. I've said this before. I forget to who, but and I don't know if this is the way with all like when you have two kids. So whoever is parents that has two kids,
It's
verify
birth
this.
order.
But
It's birth order.
what do you mean?
I know what you're gonna say, and I'll tell you. Go ahead.
What am I gonna say?
Just say it.
What am I gonna say?
About the first one being okay. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say Jackson is literally who I was as a kid.
That's funny because I feel like he's who I was too.
Okay, but Brixton is who I wish I was as a kid. That's how I feel. Like our firstborn is who I actually was and how I was as a kid.
Yeah.
And our second is exactly how I wished I was. Like if I could go back. And that's why I push Jax to be a little bit more outgoing and do things, is because I know what it's like to be kind of like stuck in your shell and be like afraid to do things because it's not cool or it's not whatever, you know what I mean? And Bricks could care less.
Right.
Like he'll do whatever, you know? So.
But at the same time too is like putting this, sometimes I'll catch myself for putting a pressure on, like Jax is a kid too. And I do think that there's like a fine line between being the older brother and not being responsible for Brixton's actions. Because Jax deserves to be a kid too.
Right.
So, you know, sometimes I'll catch him like trying to correct Bricks before we even say anything. And he's trying to make sure he's making the right decisions. And it's like, that's not your job, you know, in more ways than one. Is like, you don't have to worry about if he's making the right choices. That's too big for you. That's too big of a job. That's for adults to handle. If he makes the wrong choice, that's on him. It has nothing to do with you. You know, and I think he carries a lot of that weight, and it's like, no, you're good. And, you know, obviously, like, you look out for him and you stick up for him and you help him make the right choices. But he's not your responsibility.
Right.
You're not going to get in trouble for him making bad choices.
Right.
So I try to like emphasize that, like you are a kid too. You know. But yeah, I see a lot of myself in him trying to like parent Bricks.
Mm. No, I just meant as a kid, like the things that he does and going to school is like, oh, I don't want to wear that. I changed my mind.
In the amount of times he'll go to school with a hat on and then be like, I'm not gonna wear it.
Yeah, I used to do that all the time. Be like, wear my favorite jersey or my favorite shirt or whatever. And it's like, nah, I don't want to wear that because I don't want it not be cool or whatever. I don't know what his thought process is, but
for him, I feel like he doesn't want anybody to comment on it either way.
Mm. Yeah, Bricks could care less, and that's how I wish I was more, because I feel like I'm like that now. In the age that I'm at, like I don't care now, like what people think or say, about how I'm dressed or what I wear or how I do things. Like
he does it because he likes it.
Who?
Brixton.
Yeah, like and I'm the same way now. I was like, I'll wear things because I like it. I don't care what people think. I'll do things because I like it. I don't care what people think.
Right. But I mean, you're obviously older and like you're
right. And that's what I'm saying is like, I wish I had those years back to go back and do and be this way then. Because you, again, as you get older, you start to realize that stuff doesn't matter. Like, kind of like we talked about on the last episode is like everybody's living their own life. Nobody's paying attention to you, and all the things that you're afraid of people like talking about or like judging you for, they're all thinking the same things about themselves.
Yeah. And then you start to, I mean, you probably don't worry about this because this is where we're like different. You probably don't think about this, but I do, is I worry that Jax is a follower and he's going to grow up to like follow the wrong crowd or something.
Nah, I think he's smart.
I hope so. But then Bricks will, go to the beat of his own drum and he's definitely not a follower. And he'll kind of bounce around from group to group. If he makes the right choices, who knows?
Yeah, that's a whole nother story.
But he's definitely not a follower, that one.
Yeah.
So it's crazy, like you said, playing into stress and anxiety and how it's like, because like you said, it's like I see more or less in Jax, myself in him. And the stress and anxiety that I had as a kid, like you said. And it's like trying to stop that now for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was it. That's all I got.
Okay.
I just wanted to get that part out because I want people to hopefully relate to that and then take something away. Hopefully, I hope something is able to be taken away from all of these, but I'll end it with one more thing. I do have, we got a guest tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So, I guess people don't know that this is 2 days back to back, but this will be dropping and then the next one will be dropping the following week. It has been some time. Life has been a little crazy lately.
Yeah.
Especially with me doing this challenge. It's just like this, truthfully, has been like on the lowest of my priority list. But I know that I've been like slightly anxious about like I've missed so many weeks, but ultimately like it doesn't matter. No, I'm here when I'm here, and the people that watch it will watch it when they watch it, Yeah. So
Jax has been really challenging himself with reading and that kind of like during the week.
Yeah, it trickles into the nighttime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it gets like,
well, not only that, but like just everything. Life in general has just been hectic lately. And so it's just,
Yeah.
So we are, I'm not gonna say back, but back. So I got one guest coming tomorrow. I'm excited for this one. I'm really excited for this one because I think that this is going to be, I think it's going to be helpful to a lot of people, and B, I think it's going to be really relatable. Not that the past ones haven't, and then I have another one lined up, two lined up next month, 2 different people. So that's it for tonight.
Time to go
it's
to bed.
Late, 8:45. Thanks for coming to my podcast.
Bye.
Peace.
I'm a grandmother.